What would you do if you broke into a random car and accidentally pulled off the biggest heist in pop music history? That is the wild story unfolding right now around Beyonce, and it just took a turn nobody expected. A man named Kelvin Evans walked into Fulton County Superior Court in Atlanta on May 12, 2026, and pleaded guilty. The crime he confessed to sounds simple on paper. He broke into a parked Jeep. But what was inside that Jeep makes this one of the strangest celebrity court cases of the year. Hard drives full of unreleased Beyonce music, tour footage, set lists, choreography notes, material the world has never seen, never heard, and might never get back. And the story of how it all started is somehow even more bizarre. So how did a random thief end up inside Beyonce's tour vault? The whole thing traces back to July of 2025, deep into the Cowboy Carter tour. Beyonce had just finished a sold-out night in Atlanta. After every show, her crew packed up, scattered into their rental cars, and headed back to their hotels. One of those rentals was a Jeep Wagoneer driven by Christopher Grant, a longtime choreographer and dancer for the singer. Inside the vehicle was something he was not supposed to be carrying. Several hard drives loaded with raw footage, working demos, and rough cuts of tracks Beyonce had been developing. Some of those files had never been backed up anywhere else. Around 2 in the morning, Kelvin Evans, age 40, came across the Jeep in a parking garage. According to his own statement, he had no idea who the vehicle belonged to. He smashed the window, grabbed 2 laptops, a backpack, and the hard drives. Then he disappeared into the night. That moment changed everything. But the story gets worse the deeper it goes. Because of what those hard drives actually contained. Sources connected to Beyonce's team have described the missing content in fragments, since the full list is sealed in court. Unreleased songs from sessions tied to Cowboy Carter. Concept tracks meant for a future visual project. Rehearsal footage of choreography Beyonce had spent months perfecting. Personal notes scribbled by her team. The kind of material that, if leaked, could derail entire rollouts and damage the privacy of 100 different collaborators. And Atlanta police were not the only ones worried. The minute the team realized what had been taken, the whole tour basically went into lockdown. Security ramped up. Hotel switches happened overnight. Lawyers started building a case before fans even knew anything was missing. So how did the police actually catch Kelvin Evans? The answer is almost funny. Wait until you hear how he got tracked down. The arrest unfolded thanks to a mix of luck and laziness. Surveillance cameras in the parking garage caught a full angle of the break-in. Evans was wearing no mask. He left his face exposed for over a full minute. Then he made a second mistake. He drove away in a vehicle that was already flagged in the police database for a separate matter. Within 72 hours of the theft, detectives had a name, a face, and a license plate. They tracked him to a relative's apartment on the south side of the city. When they entered the home, they found one of the stolen laptops still in his closet. The hard drives were not there. To this day, prosecutors say they have not fully recovered what was on those drives, and Evans claims he sold them off the same night. That last detail is what makes this case haunting. So where did those hard drives end up? Nobody knows for sure. In his court statement, Evans said he sold the items quickly to a buyer who he could not identify. He claims he had no idea any of the material belonged to Beyonce until weeks later, when news of the theft broke online. By then, the drives were already gone. Investigators believe the contents may have changed hands multiple times. A handful of low-quality clips popped up briefly on encrypted file-sharing forums in late 2025, but the bulk of the material has never publicly surfaced. Beyoncé's legal team has been quietly working with global cybersecurity firms to monitor any leak attempts. So far, the material has stayed offline. But the fear inside the camp is constant. One leak. One careless upload. One angry buyer. That is all it would take to undo months of creative work. And the heart of this case is bigger than just one theft. And the legal fallout for everyone involved is still unfolding. Christopher Grant, the choreographer whose Jeep was broken into, was reportedly placed on a brief internal review because of the way the sensitive material had been stored. He was eventually cleared, since the rental vehicle was supposed to be a secure transport. But the entire experience reshaped how Beyoncé's team handles digital assets on the road. Sources say the team now travels with biometric locked drives, real-time GPS trackers on every device, and rotating security details that swap out hotels each night. The Atlanta Police Department also opened a wider review of how often valuable entertainment industry materials are stolen from rental vehicles. Their preliminary findings show that high-profile tour theft has spiked in the last 3 years, especially in cities with large concert venues. So what is Beyoncé herself doing throughout all of this? She has stayed publicly quiet on the case, but privately active. According to people close to her team, Beyoncé personally signed off on the new security protocols. She also reportedly funded a private cyber recovery team that has been monitoring darknet markets, encrypted messaging platforms, and underground music forums for any sign of her stolen material. Industry insiders say the operation runs almost like a small intelligence agency. So far, the only material that has surfaced has been small, low-quality fragments, and her team has been able to suppress those quickly through copyright takedowns. Beyoncé has not delayed any of her ongoing projects. She has continued performing. She has continued producing. The robbery did not stop her. It simply forced her to operate at a new level of caution. And the wider music industry took notes the moment the news broke. Here is what makes this story matter beyond the headlines. Music vaults used to be guarded like national treasures. Locked rooms. Sealed servers. Armed security. The world has now changed. Artists work on the road. Files travel in backpacks. Drives ride in rental cars. And in one careless moment, in one open parking garage, in one ordinary Atlanta night, a random thief stumbled into one of the most valuable secret libraries in modern music. Evans is now facing serious time. The legal system will give him what he earned. But the bigger question hanging over the industry is one nobody wants to answer out loud. If it happened to Beyoncé, who is next? Some heists end in a vault cracked open with tools and timing. This one ended with a smashed window and a man who had no idea what he just took. Music industry executives across Los Angeles, Atlanta, and New York held private meetings within days of the news breaking. New protocols are now being discussed. Some labels are reportedly considering biometric-only storage for any unreleased work. Others want to limit how often any sensitive file can leave a studio building. The Beyoncé case did not just rattle her camp. It pushed the entire business to rethink how vulnerable its biggest secrets really are. If this story shocked you, tap that like button so other fans can find it. Subscribe for the next big celebrity case as it breaks. Drop your theory in the comments about where those drives ended up. And share this with a friend who still thinks the tour drama was just rumor.